Well, a big welcome back to yet another episode of The Humble Climb. It'll be the last one for a couple of weeks. Cat's out of the bag. I'm going away to the motherland for a little bit, so I wanted to go out with a bit of a bang. And I've got an amazing friend of mine who I can't wait to bring his story to life. Been fortunate to meet him through one of our mutual friends, being Amy. But before we get into the story, I've got to say a massive, massive thank you to, of course, our ever-coming sponsors that continue to come on board. So Gigi Herring Kids, thank you so much for your continuous love and support. Blank Financial, you guys have been amazing, Bernard and the team. Property Society Co., they've come on board for their second episode and they'll be here for a few more. We can't wait to continue to build this amazing friendship with you guys and your support. And our newest and best, Anthony Gallo from Beckett Property. He's a fantastic buyer and vendor advocate. I strongly recommend getting in touch with Anthony. Big friend of mine, and we've done numerous transactions together. So if you are in the market and want someone to act on your behalf, strongly get involved, and I'll give you all the details below. But before we do anything further, big welcome to James, the Adonis Delis. Welcome on, brother.
Thanks, Divi. Thanks for having me, brother.
It's been a long time in the making. It feels like we've been talking about this as a bit of a flirt, but we got there in the end, and I love the fact that we can actually bring this to life. You've got an amazing story. You sort of attribute everything that I envisaged with this podcast and this redemption story. So I love the fact you know my background. I know a lot of yours, but welcome.
Thank you, mate. I just want to say, first and foremost, I really appreciate the opportunity for coming on the show, mate.
No, you're a gentleman.
I love what you do.
I'm getting lost in those eyes right now. I'm getting lost. Mate, this is it's an incredible time with everything that's going on in your life. But you know, we've met each other through a mutual friend of ours, being Amy, and she's been an amazing friend to both of us through many of our difficult times. So shout out to Amy, Clem, and Jar, wherever she is. But you know, starting off from the start, Melbourne boy, Melbourne raised. Talk to me through about early years, all those types of things.
Sure. So, Melbourne, born and raised. Grew up in the southeast, Mount Waverley. Went to school at Wesley College.
Wesley boy?
Yeah, got the trifecta, actually. I've been to all three campuses. So, we'll get into that later. But yeah, finished up at Wesley. You know, I've got three siblings, two younger brothers, a beautiful younger sister, both parents still together.
Amazing.
Yeah, big Greek household, mate.
Big Greek household.
Yeah,
I think that's probably half the appeal
as
to why I've got such a soft spot for my fellow motherland gentlemen here. Other than the fact that we're both extremely good looking. But that comes naturally. But Wesley College boy, and you, I don't know, I love the whole, and I think it's the embrace of it, of, you know, the private school kid that goes down a different path and then comes out what he's doing now. I think it's awesome. Genuinely, I just think it's an amazing story. But Wesley College, I think there was Melbourne Grammar in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many schools did you get kicked out of?
Just one.
Okay.
Yeah, just one. Just Melbourne Grammar.
Asked to leave or?
Asked to leave, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then the Wesley, 3 different campuses?
So I got asked to leave in year 9, which is an intake year.
Yeah, okay.
So you can imagine my parents at the time were running around trying to find a school that would accept me. You know, lucky I was good at a few things with sport. You know, tennis was heavily involved in my story throughout high school. So Wesley accepted me back in, and I had to do the remainder of year 9 at Elstonwick campus, which only goes to year 9.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, then I was transferred over to Paran.
I love it.
So I finished up there.
And now you're, I guess, growing up and everything like that, obviously primary school and then into secondary. Did you go to Wesley as primary?
Huntingdale early days. Which is
Huntingdale,
yeah, in Mount Waverley. And then straight over to Wesley Glen Waverley.
Yeah, right, okay. That's actually picked up heaps, that school now.
It has now, yeah.
Huntingdale.
Well, the area has picked
up.
Of
course, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's Mount Waverley. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So you go through there, going through school, what is it, just fun, just school, just whatever? Or were you sort of the type of student that was diligent, or was it more just a...
Great question. I think throughout my earlier years, I just kind of just went through school day to day. Didn't really take it seriously.
The sports you took seriously.
Just love sports, mate.
Yeah.
You know, I'm athletic from a young age, and I found that as an outlet from a young age as well. You know, ADHD, that suited me really well, that I could just apply myself to something. You know, I struggled to to sort of sit in class, stay, present in the moment with school, was always getting into trouble, was always a little shit.
Yeah.
And just, with sports, I was just able to run right.
Did you ever get into the graffiti?
No, I hung around a lot of people that did, but me personally,
I was going to ask what your tag was growing up.
Man, I can barely write my name.
I love it, man. Yeah. I remember I tried in like year 7 or year 8. I was hanging around a bunch of graffiti kids from school, and like I was trying to skateboard as well at the same time. Me skateboarding, one of the funniest things you've ever seen. But I was trying to like be like this cool kid that graffitis and everything, and I was like, dude, this is so not me. Like just like back then, I was ordering hot chocolates because I was like, I want to feel.
You're trying to find yourself,
100%. That's the biggest thing. Is that been the biggest thing for you? Do you think finding yourself?
Mate, still to this day, I'm still finding myself.
Yeah.
But finding what makes me happy and what fills my cup.
Yeah.
I think that's been the greatest journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the biggest part of my journey so far.
Yeah, I love it. Greek, talking about taking you back to the Greek household and all that, because obviously there's a lot that I can relate to as well. Obviously, you seem like you got quite a close-knit family from what I've seen and been able to notice from afar.
Yeah.
Obviously, faith and religion plays a part as well, which obviously we had a bit of a connection over with Easter. Was that always something that was around, or did you find it more in recent years as you went through shit that it became a bit more prevalent?
Growing up, obviously, everyone in my family is religious.
Yeah.
Everyone believes in God, but coming from the Greek Orthodox background, you go to church. Sometimes there might be difficulties in understanding what they're saying, which is definitely my story.
Yeah.
It wasn't until more recent times that I was able to really search out and
appreciate more.
Yeah, and actually get to know God.
Yeah, I love that.
Back then, it was just more going to church, Easter, New Year's, going to Kinunia on Sundays, with your things like that.
I think that's the one thing that probably spiked up my interest with you, because obviously during the Easter period, as everyone knows, my amazing partner Sophia was doing these candles, and you reached out to me and bought 6 or 8, I lost count. And then I was straight away to Amy, when I knew you pretty well, but not as well as I feel like I know you now. I know it's only been a couple of weeks ago, but I was like, man, this guy's just I was like, in my head, I'm like, this guy's a jet because he believes because he's religious like me. Do you know what I mean?
Can I also say, I would rather support someone that I know.
Yeah.
And there's time, there's effort, there's love that's gone into that from your missus.
Yeah.
Than say go down to a cafe and pay them.
Yeah, I get that. And that's what I appreciate more. Well, that's what me and
they are beautiful candles.
They are,
mind you.
She's a jet. She's probably going to watch this back, and I'm telling her how amazing she is, because she is. She's amazing. I love her so much.
Yeah.
But going back to things post school, you finish year 12.
Finish year 12, yeah.
Awesome. What does that look like as soon as you finish?
As soon as I finished, I was pretty lost, to be honest with you. If I go back to year 12, my father's an accountant.
Yep.
And a big part of my story was trying to please my parents and do, what they wanted me to do. And coming from, a Greek background as well, they had high expectations for me, especially with the schools that I went to, the sacrifices that they made to put me and my family through those schools. So there was a lot of pressure. And for me that didn't take school very seriously, come year 12, scary times.
When the results show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary times. So there was a lot of, what do I do? And then, I'm knee-jerk reaction. Dad really wanted me to study accounting, rightfully so. I'm his eldest son. He's an accountant, has his own practice, get into accounting. So I did that. I enrolled in an RMIT in accounting, and I think I lasted a whole of not even one semester there, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no interest whatsoever from me. And then from there, mate, we ended up in the same profession, So I found that I can talk. I'm a people person. I love speaking with people. I love hearing people's journey. I love, the connection from speaking with people. And then, after going through a couple of years of feeling lost, I was able to kind of find out, an industry where connection is key, as you would know. Yeah. So I started off at Century 21 in Clayton, Clorinda, so not far from you. The boys there, Con and Con, gave me a great opportunity. And that's where I learned real estate.
Amazing.
You know, so
And then you get into real estate, into sales or property management?
straight into sales.
Oh, so it's proper sales. Yeah, okay.
Straight into sales.
Amazing.
You know, through, you know, connections through my father and through my own that I made, it wasn't really, you know, a forever job to stay there. So I learned up, stayed there for a number of years, and then that's when I branched off and started my own agency, JA Realty Group.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just a boutique agency in Mount Waverley, right next door to my old man's practice. Yeah, leverage off his clients, off my network, and and it was a good time.
So what years are we talking with that?
That was 2017, 2018.
Oh, so that would have been my first year of real estate, right?
Yeah.
So you started working in real estate when?
I would have been 2014.
Okay, so you start 2014, work a couple of years at another agency, and then you
Just
all
get
of
the
a sudden-
knowledge, get off the ground running.
And then you go 27-18, start your own stuff.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Amazing. And then how long does that sort of last?
Well, this is the part of the story where it goes south pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Right. There was a lot going on in my life at that time. If I take the story back a little bit further to when we were at school, my whole social group, you know, we used to go out and it was a lot of drug use, a lot of drinking.
During school? Like as in during your school years, drug use or?
I would say towards the end.
Yeah.
And then, you know, carried on.
Yeah.
Right. Very boisterous. Everyone in the group, we just went out and we did it, you know?
Yeah.
That carried on throughout my early 20s as well. But I was able to keep the facade that everything was okay, you know? There wasn't any consequences. It was still fairly social, not as detrimental to me as a person as it got.
Yeah.
So I was still able to keep everything kosher with the family and with friends and everything like that. Fast forward to then being in a new industry, real estate, and when I got into real estate, I didn't realize what I was really signing up for at the beginning. You know, it's a lot of calls, a lot of doors that you're knocking on. You know, there's a lot of conversations that you're having with people, and there's a lot of pressure for a new agent starting out in the industry that has no idea, that's got, you know, no experience and no real mentor at that stage, just dropped in the deep end and saying, right, you've got to earn your keep, you know. And that's why, like, I've got a lot of respect for agents that are still hustling, mate, because it's a dangerous game.
Well,
there's so many people.
I think sales is like a drug. That's probably the best way to put it, I reckon.
Yeah.
I think you're always chasing that next high by crunching that deal and negotiating and all that type of stuff.
Mate, it's just a constant dopamine.
Yeah, it is.
Constant
Yeah,
dopamine,
that's the best way to put it,
you know,
actually.
So
I like
when you
that.
close a deal, spikes.
Yeah.
You know, it couldn't be, you can attest to that feeling.
Yeah, it's you do, and I think in our particular job, you can certainly feel invincible at times.
Yeah.
Someone once told me, never ride the highs too high, never ride the lows too low.
Yeah, I wish I heard that one.
I heard it. You know, it's funny. I heard it, and then it took me so long to understand it. First understand it, and then implement it.
Yeah.
And now I'm still implementing. I'm so far off mastering because even now you still get the shits if you miss one or if you can't put one together. You know.
That's a good one. Say that one again.
Don't ride the highs too high and the lows too low.
I like that.
Yeah. Someone once told me that, and then again, it took me ages to understand it. It took me ages to implement it, and now I'm certainly still going through the realms of it all. But I think it applies to life more than just real estate. It applies to everything, really.
Absolutely.
Like anything. From a drug use perspective, and again, this isn't a sort of a drug podcast. It's not a mental health podcast. It's nothing like that. But from a, it's a general podcast, really. From a drug use point of view, you know, was it your stock standard? Start off with weed, move to, and then sort of go up the chain, or was it always just kickstart and go hard or go home?
It was more social, more party.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
As it was a social sort of thing, an outlet.
Yeah, of
in
course.
the beginning, you know. Then once I got into real estate, and when I started that hustle, you know, it was kind of like a coping mechanism. You know, and that's when it kind of started for me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if I bring it back to, I'm in a new industry, didn't work very hard at school. Now I'm making X amount of calls a day, feeling pretty lost in what I'm doing and not knowing whether or not this is going to be my career path or what's going to happen. I was very overwhelmed. Not to mention I was hiding behind a massive ego, right? Which is the downfall of a lot of people. And that certainly is definitely part of my story. That ego is what drew me to my rock bottom.
I love that. I think it's almost the honesty with it is pretty cool, as you guys can probably tell as you're listening in. That facade building of the outside of you can only rely on, I guess, bits and pieces for so long before you start to unravel and find things out. Moving into sort of, does drug use go from becoming, let's just say, does drug use go from becoming obviously the social outlet to then the work outlet to a degree, and then does it quickly become a daily habit?
I often ask myself this question as well. It's a really good question. I would often ask myself, how can some people use a substance or go out drinking and keep it social?
Yeah.
Go out Friday night, get on the bags, pull up Sunday, go to work Monday, and then consistently do that.
Yeah.
Right? Or go out, have a couple, go home, call it quits. That was never the case for me.
Have you got like an addictive personality?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Addict to my core, you know. So whatever I do, I have to do it 100.
Yeah, I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Have to do it 100. And unfortunately for me,
it includes even that,
at that point in my life, that was what I was doing, and I did it 100, But it did creep up though, right?
Yeah.
So at that point when I was in real estate, as I spoke to you about before, that facade, I was able to slap on a suit, jump in my Mercedes, look $1 million, go get a fresh fade, you know what I mean? Go to the Solly, and I'd look Mickey Mouse. But internally, I was broken. Inside, I was a shell of a human being. It was just all external, nothing internal.
What was your lowest point?
You're fast forwarding the story. Probably, I would say, so shortly after starting my own agency, the pressure then went from, hustling at an agency like Century 21 to then having your own business, employing other people.
And are you employing other people at this stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Right. Taking out a lease, a lot more internal pressures, right? And at that stage, my coping mechanism was a mind or mood altering substance.
Yeah.
But
are you sort of waking up in the morning doing substances, we go home or a lunch break or whatever it is, substance? Like, is it just a pick me up throughout the day?
Yeah, throughout the day.
Yeah.
Some days I'm working 23 hours to get the business going.
Yeah.
When I was getting the business started.
Yeah.
And that was my mechanism, right? So, fast forward into that business, everything was going great. And in true James fashion, I had the self-sabotage, I dipped my toe in a pond where I didn't really know those waters, and I did a few things that I'm not too proud of. What
was the big push to open up your own though? Was it more an ego? Was it an ego thing of I've got my own business, or was it was it something like, okay, I'm genuinely ready? Because if you probably look back now, would you say? And I don't believe in regrets, by the way. I believe in hindsight, not regrets. Two so different things.
Very different, yeah.
But would you look back now and be like, yeah, I probably should have done my time a bit longer learning the apprenticeship or mastering the skill before I go and do my own?
No, because no matter what I did in the headspace that I was in and what I was doing in the background, the same outcome would have played out. Whether it was in that
domain.
Yeah, or a different, parallel universe where I didn't start my own business and I stayed at that agency, I would have fucked up just as bad in that agency.
And I think it almost doesn't matter what industry you're in.
No. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Didn't matter.
The only thing with real estate, I think, is that real estate with a lot of us can probably, a lot of people, I should say, not us, you and I, but a lot of people can accentuate the ego a lot more and make you feel a lot more special than what you are.
Correct.
Because all of a sudden you're meant to be seen as this flash-wearing suit guy or woman.
Yeah.
That supposedly it's meant to be the easiest job that you make easy money, and it's not the case.
Definitely not the case.
It's not the case.
Definitely not the case.
So you start up your own. Where does it start to crumble?
It starts to crumble when the pressures start to pile up and I start, internalizing a lot of them, and then greed comes into it as well. Right? More. If I really think back to that time with what I was doing, being that shell of a person that I was, and ego-driven, like run right at this stage. Now I've got my own business. Now I'm employing other people. So that just multiplied my ego by 1,000, I didn't understand and had no concern for consequences whatsoever.
Yeah.
I thought it was untouchable, right? Which is, that was my downfall, right? Nothing had ever come back to me. I'd never been in trouble with the law, nothing like that. So I'd never really felt that pinch until the hammer came down.
Yeah.
Right? Until I realised that, hey, this isn't a game. This is life.
Yeah.
Right? Did some things, went to some places that I'm not proud of, and then when I got out of those places, I felt even more lost, because, fast forward, 18 months from starting the agency to then doing a complete 180, right? And being back to where I started with nothing.
And are you living at home at this point?
After everything that happened with real estate, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Had to start
Naturally,
again. Yeah.
And with all these consistent, inconsistent, call it what you like, drug intels with everything, how much is your family predisposed to it? Or is it hidden from them? Or
by this stage, they were aware.
Yeah. Of the extent?
Probably not to the extent, but they were aware, that I was struggling, with addiction. And that is my sole purpose for coming on this as well, Dimmy, in hopes that I could reach, one listener that's struggling with mental health or addiction, and encourage them to reach out. Because, when you're caught in that, and it's very hard to explain to someone that's not caught in that, headspace, but when you're in that, you don't feel comfortable in your own skin. When you're in active addiction and you've got no knowledge on how to get out of it or, how to stop using and get back to, baseline level, mate, it's a very lonely and dark place. I was in a very, very dark place, and with me being in a dark place, like we said before, I've got a close-knit family, I wasn't even aware of what I was doing to them.
Yeah.
And to this day that hurts me. That I put them through it as much as I got put through it. Because those dark places, they were with me every step of the journey, but I wasn't present enough to acknowledge or understand that.
And is it a thing of because I never think it's just friendship groups. Like I've always like we probably both have. We've both gained friend, lost friends, done all those types of things along the way. I think it's an internal control sometimes that sometimes we as humans don't have because I don't believe in peer pressure. I think the peer pressure exists when you're year 10. I don't know if peer pressure exists or should exist when you're 18, 19, 20. That's just my outlook.
Yeah.
But, obviously you do what you can. I imagine you probably had a few stints by this stage. Not now, I'm talking at that time, back and forth between trying to get help. Yeah. What does that look like?
Correct. Okay. So I'm very grateful that I was given the opportunity. I got bailed to a rehab.
Yep.
A private rehab.
So when you go to court and then you get bailed to a rehab?
Yeah.
Right. So then you can actually go.
I spent some time in remand.
Yeah.
Which was my rock bottom.
Yeah.
And then I got bailed.
Yeah.
To a private rehab.
Is that your rock? Is that your lowest moment?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, in life, yeah.
In my head, the upbringing that I had to then ending up in jail.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense to me how I ended up there. And that's when it really came down and I realised this isn't a joke.
Just on that, if I can just expand on that, that first day or whatever it is in remand, whatever it is, right? And not for things that we're going to go into, but what's that like, that feeling? Like what is that? Is that because you're you're a big boy, man. Like you can handle yourself. I'm sure you weren't that thick back then, but like you're a big boy.
Yeah.
Are you scared at this point? Not just scared, but obviously you're mentally shaken up, but physically you're like, what the fuck, man?
Riddled with fear.
Yeah.
Riddled with fear, and I think most people that haven't been to jail would be lying if they told you that they weren't. It's a new environment, completely new environment. You don't know what to expect, only from what, people that I've been hanging around have told me.
Did you know anyone?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
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 So you feel a bit more...
But still, at the end of the day, like from what I was told to being in that situation are two different things.
Yeah.
And it was during COVID as well. And that was a very interesting time to be in the system because just like out here, lockdowns, there was lockdowns in there.
Yeah.
So I got remanded and it was 2 weeks in a cell, you're not leaving.
Because of COVID lockdown,
COVID.
Yeah.
Quarantine.
Quarantine, that's right.
So it's the exact same in there, which was even harder.
And that's just stuck in a room.
You've got no connection. You're not speaking to anybody.
Is that just stuck in a room 23 hours a day?
Yeah, they had runouts, which is like so once you were cleared from COVID, that you didn't have COVID, then you were transferred and then you were put with your cellmate, and then you'd have a run out of say an hour a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and sometimes the lockdowns would happen because it was at MRC, which is the remand centre.
Yeah.
And sometimes the runouts weren't happening for a couple of days.
Wow.
Yeah, so
you'd just be locked in a cell.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's probably the biggest reality check though itself, wouldn't it be?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? You'd think so, And I remember at that time when I was by myself in the initial first couple of weeks, I remember thinking, fuck, this is rock bottom. It does not get worse. I don't think I'm going to be able to get out of this one, And I think my head just ran with it that this is now me. I internalized it a lot. I felt defeated. That my story and my journey had taken me, my actions, more importantly, had taken me here.
Yeah.
But
sometimes it can be the best thing that happens.
Mate, look, like you said before, I love what you said. No regrets, just hindsight.
Yeah.
Because my journey so far, no matter the good or the bad, has led me here.
Yeah.
I think where I'm at today.
I think sometimes it can be I don't know, it's probably not a right way to look at it, but I think sometimes it can be the best thing for some people as well. I'm saying to end up in prison is the best thing, but I'm saying, even from talking to my dad about it, like sometimes it can be, it's such an eye-opening experience. I mean, he was 2 years and 2 and a bit years.
Yeah.
So it was very different, but I think it can be an eye-opening to get you back on the straight and narrow as well.
Absolutely. Look, it sparked for me, because before there was any consequences, it was just, I thought to myself, there's no consequences, and you just kept doing what you were doing.
I'm untouchable.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's that ego that I was telling you about before, that false sense of reality, which is fueled by addiction, So once that had happened, it kind of lit a little flame that I need to try and do better, but I just didn't know how to. So then I just put that to rest, but the thought was there, that was the first time that I remember thinking that this is when I need help.
How many stints in rehab did you have in the end?
2.
Two. And so you get bailed is it the first time that you go to a rehab centre? Is it the time you get bailed?
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And then you held in there for how long?
3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is that just stone cold turkey stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And then you go out.
Yeah.
And do you go back into the prison system, or do you go back out?
Yeah. Went out. Yeah. You're out. Once again, felt very lost.
As soon as you finished from the rehab?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
My business, like the last time, 7 months prior to that, 8 months prior to that, I was in real estate. I had my own agency.
Wow.
Everything was going well. And then fast forward the story, and that had happened, this has happened, and now I'm here and I've got nothing.
Yeah.
And
then it's back to living at mum and dad's?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's back to feeling defeated.
And have you still got
a different level of defeat?
And have you still got like court system hanging over your head
Absolutely.
And everything and all that type of jazz?
Yeah, correct.
So then you're sort of obviously not sure of how long you're going to be out and about for?
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
And then you fall into old habits really quickly.
And is that what happened with you?
So luckily for me, what had happened was I managed to get my shit together.
Nice.
Yeah, I managed to get my shit together and jumped on a construction site. Yeah, through a mutual friend.
You were way too pretty to be to be a tradie.
Yeah, so I was doing that. I was just trying to keep my nose clean, to be honest with you, you know. And I was very lost. I felt I felt disgraced. This is the internal stuff now, right? So I didn't want to get back into real estate, obviously.
Yeah.
So I have no idea where to go to from there.
Yeah.
No idea where to go to from there. And after that, did the construction. Didn't feel like it was filling my cup.
Yeah, it wasn't ticking the box.
It wasn't ticking. Like coming from real estate to just being construction, and you know, mate, the boys that do that.
Oh, hats off.
Hats off. You know, but for me at that time, like I was internalizing a lot, just being there in my head all day. Like what we said before with the ADHD, I need something to keep me occupied.
Yeah.
You know, so if I fast forward a little bit further. I ended up having, you know, a slip up, and then
that created a bigger one.
Created a bigger one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you couple that with you know, I had a passing of a family member, and that was the first close family member that passed. My yaya.
Yeah.
And that was pretty raw. You know, that was towards the end of COVID.
So we're talking, what, 21, 22 there? Or?
Yeah, we're talking 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, 22, yeah.
Just like sort of mid-22. Yeah, that was very confronting to see, you know. Went in, chest infection, every day seeing her deteriorating really rapidly, right? Losing function of her organs. Shortly after that, I'd go into the hospital and she'd be yelling out, they're killing me.
Yeah, well.
You know, coming in there with no sleep, seeing that, you know, it was a hard time for me, right? And obviously the hospitals during that time as well weren't accommodating to a lot of family members and things like that.
Yeah, it was different rules, regulations, policies, everything. Sure.
You know, a couple of weeks after that, she passed away. You know, and that kind of gave me, in my head, enough fuel to be like, right, fuck it, right back into it again.
So as a coping mechanism?
Yeah, correct, as a coping mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my addiction was just playing up again.
Yeah.
You know,
and then off you went again down the same path.
Just started using daily. Wasn't doing the right thing. Managed to get myself back into treatment, which was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Different place or same place?
Same place. This time I was ready. You know, this time I was ready.
Yeah, there was no stuffing around this one almost?
This time I was ready to give it up.
And how long were you there for?
3 months.
So another 3 months in?
Yeah, 3 months.
No way.
Yeah, and this time I really took the time. You know, I only went in initially that I wanted to do 1 month. I had other legal matters in the background still lingering over me. So I thought to myself, it's best if I stay in there for 3 months for myself. And it was.
And where was that based?
When?
Where is that based, in Melbourne or out of Melbourne?
Geelong.
Nice. So you're in Geelong for 3 months.
Correct, yeah.
Nice, beautiful community, man.
Yeah.
I must say.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it actually is beautiful. If anyone hasn't been down there recently, down to the Geelong Pier, it's stunning.
Yeah. No, well, look, mate, it's an inpatient program, so you're at a facility.
Yeah, wow.
You know, so you're not out amongst the community.
Yeah.
So did that, you know, and this is how God plays out, right? So leaving there, I had the opportunity to be able to come back and work at that facility, which is what I do now, you know. So this is just God just extending his hand.
Yeah.
Right, because once again, after that, I was like, okay, where to from here? You know, which has been, if you look back on my journey, that's been my crux. But where to from here? Start again. Right?
It's a pretty cool redemption story when you're being a patient to now being
pretty much
like
and
a facilitator. Is that what you call it?
So I'm a client liaison.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I handle the intake process, admissions. You know, when clients call up and they need, you know, they want to know about the program, I'm the one that helps educate them.
Yeah,
you know, give them my own experience as well.
That's pretty powerful, though. When you've had someone on the other side
that knows what
you're going through.
Correct.
I don't know. I think that's extremely powerful.
Yeah, mate, and I love it. You know,
That is literally Humble Climb 101, this whole story. This is like as a humble climb as it gets. It starts from like, you know, doing where you are to where you are now. What's the day like that you get clear? Well, not cleared, I shouldn't say, but that you know that there's no more court proceedings and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
What's that relief almost like?
Mate, I can't even tell you. Yeah. It's like this massive weight's been lifted off your shoulders. It's like you're a shackled horse and now you're able to run free, you know, and just move on and move forward with your life.
Yeah.
You know,
I think there's one of those ones where there's like always remorse, but
absolutely.
there's always remorse.
Yeah.
But you've also got to, I don't know what the word is, but remorse is obviously the non-negotiable for me. But then the second part is as well that you can't be remorseful if you don't get yourself right to realise the mistake.
Correct. Yeah. That's a really good way of putting it.
So,
really good way of putting it.
You know, you may have not been remorseful at one stage, but when you get yourself right, you're able to look back and be like, yeah, shit, I did the wrong thing.
Well, the way that I'll make amends now, and that's the best way to put it for me, for the things that I've done, you know, to my family, to other people and others, things like that, is that, you know, I live in my integrity today.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And I do the next best right thing by others.
Next right decision. Yeah, of course.
You know, and I'm blessed that the job that I do today, I'm able to give back in a sense and help other people come in and get into treatment, you know, which is really cool.
Humble Climb 101. 101. I love it. Now, I want to get into, I mean, as I said, this is exactly why I wanted to have you on because it's I love it. I'm so proud. And just off topic, I've only known you for a couple of months, but I'm like, I feel like me and you have really connected. Yeah. It's, again, probably got to do with being good looking. But I'm so proud of you, genuinely. One, for being so open and upfront about all this stuff because I know it's so hard. You've never done anything like this before. No. So I'm so proud of you for that. I don't know how many viewers this will reach, but regardless, this will be on there forever, as you once told me, right, the other week, that, fuck, this is going to be on there for a while. The best part about it is that you've been so open, so upfront, owned what you've had to own, but you've completely ridden the wave and taken us on a journey from start to finish where we can imagine. We don't need to ask questions such as what was your drug of choice. People can imagine and they can make their own things out there. It's not for us to query or anything like that, or how many days did you do inside prison or anything like that. But from my point of view, before we keep going, I just wanted to say how proud I am of you as a friend, because I just think it's an amazing story, and that's why I strongly believe in never writing anyone off, because these type of stories are the best things ever. And it makes what makes life so freaking beautiful.
You're a gentleman.
Nah, man, it's the best. I want to talk about this before we wrap things up, right? This is my favourite top, which I've been given. Looks like it's a double XL. That's weird. I'm normally that big.
I was told you were a double XL.
But James, the Adonis Delis.
Yeah.
And, of course, Team Delis, with, of course, all the major sponsors there on the back.
Yeah.
Kickboxing, where'd that come from?
So, as part of my story, I didn't have an outlet to harness that ADHD, that, you know, I just always had just an itch, right? This is how God works as well, right? Before a couple of those rock bottoms, my dad introduced me to somebody, you know, in hopes to try and get me out of where I was at.
Line.
Pretty much, right? Pretty much, you know, and it took him months and months and months of begging and, you know, and
how good are parents, man? Mate, parents are the best.
They're beautiful, mate. They're beautiful. And at the time I wasn't able to appreciate it, you know. It was a chore. It was all right, no worries, let's go meet this person. You know, where is it?
Yeah.
Right? So he sends me the address and I get there and I don't know what to expect. But mate, I haven't slept. I couldn't care less. I wanted to touch the wall, appease him, leave, right? I walk up these stairs to this gym. You know, I sit down at this table and my old man brings somebody over, and that's Stan Longinides.
Oh, wow. Stan the man.
Stan the man, yeah. Right. And he's the most amazing person you'll ever meet.
I've met him once.
Yeah. You know, he's today he preaches, you know, at Christian groups. Completely selfless person now, you know, very, very different life. Yeah. And he loves to help. He
did one of the most impressive presentations I've ever done, where he was bawling his eyes out, crying. Right. And I felt like crying because I saw him cry. And this is Stan the man, professional kickboxer from that put so many of us on the map.
I'm so glad that you've had that experience, because here's me not sleeping, feeling rock bottom, didn't know what to think when I was walking up to this gym, and completely like a shell, like I said to you before. Didn't have any thought as to what I'm going to expect. And then you've got that person sitting me down and pleading to me and speaking with such raw emotion, and just trying to give me some faith.
Yeah, you definitely take notice. I get what you're talking about.
So I, in that conversation, I'm crying.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'm crying. What he's saying to me is really resonating with me. Like I felt lost. And what he was saying, I wish I could, I had the ability to be able to listen to him at that time, but I just wasn't there yet, Left that. So that's Stan. That's me meeting Stan. That was my first introduction, to kickboxing at that stage. Went inside, came out, went to rehab. Throughout my journey, I'd met somebody else, and his name's Aaron Goodson, world-class kickboxer, right? And we became close friends. And I just remember watching some of his fights and thinking, this guy is just the most, just like very similar to Stan in that sense, that we're such a selfless person, great guy to be around, the energy, and I believe in this, like energy, frequency, whatever you want to call it, it's a thing, it's a thing. Like you just sit in a room with someone, you just get along with them, and they're just happy people. And that's what I felt with him, right? And I knew that for him, amazing kickboxer, unbelievable, right? And this is someone that I'm very close with. So once my journey had gotten me to a point where I was able to start getting my life back in order, right, I went back to the gym at Stan's.
Ah.
Right, and then I started training there.
And that's what, 20?
This is 2021.
Yeah.
This is a midst of COVID, right? And the boys at House of Champions, George and Stan Longinetti's, were amazing to me. In Blackburn.
Okay.
Right? They were amazing to me. Letting me into the gym, training after hours and things like that during COVID was difficult, but these guys, they took me under their wing, and I'll be forever grateful for that.
Yeah, wow. Amazing.
For what they did, and because they wanted to help. I was training with both of them quite frequently at that time. Had no intentions of ever fighting, like professionally at that stage or anything, right? Was just training. Was training to stay in, positive spirit, to keep the body physically fit.
But wait, as you're more training, the more you're falling in love with it?
Fell in love with it, mate. Absolutely. Right. And then as I'm training, this is the weird part. This is another God moment, right? At the gym there, and I had no idea at this stage. I look up and, George and Stan, beautiful boys, right? They've got their mother, their father, their coach, the trainer on the wall, right, framed. I look at the second photo. It's Dana Goodson. Stan's trainer was Dana Goodson, who's Aaron, my friend's father.
Oh, wow.
Right? So there's another connection. And I was in awe of that. Right? Like someone that I met and I got along really well with, very, very close with. I'm at a gym training.
It's all connected.
It's all connected, And that was like, all right, this is where I need to be. This is just a sign. This is where I need to be, and this is what I need to do. The people that I met at the gym, A grade, unbelievable people. Everyone just wants to help one another, whether it's physically, emotionally, or even spiritually. As Stan helped me. So I stuck at it there. Did a couple of amateurs there. Then, got an opportunity to, and this is earlier this year, got an opportunity to fight my first pro card, under George. Which is then when I'd reached out to Kane Clark, world-class boxer, undefeated boxer, right? Someone who I also have the, pleasure of calling a very close friend of mine. I'd reach out to him and said, hey, can we work more intimately together? I've got this amazing opportunity to fight on this card, and I just need to start sharpening some things up, right? By this stage, I'm absolutely in love with it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it, right? And I'll get to why at the end. So I start training more intimately with him. We we have our first fight, and it's a head kick knockout in the second round, early second round. So we get the result that we wanted. You know, I've got the whole team there, my whole family's there. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful evening. You know, unbelievable. Friends, everyone around, sponsors, everyone came together. You know, because they've seen my journey, and what an amazing night to celebrate that. You know, fast forward a little bit longer. I didn't take much time off after the first one, and you know, got asked to fight on another show. That's Big Time Kickboxing, Brian's show at the Pavilion, and that was happened recently.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, and you know, and shout out to Prince for all the sparring before that, and that was another one.
That was within the first round, wasn't it?
That was first round. You know,
knockout.
2 minutes and I think 20 seconds.
See you later.
Yeah.
Good night.
But just the thing that I love about this sport, mate, is it just brings martial arts and as a general, you know, it brings everyone. Just everyone gets together, you know, and everyone just pushes everyone. It's a different type of pushing to a breaking point, you know, and you know, it keeps me centered, and it keeps me, more importantly, humble.
So you're doing it every day,
you know,
at the moment?
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Six
So
days
you're
a
balancing
week.
work.
Correct, yeah.
And obviously training.
Yeah.
And there's obviously, so as a pro kickboxer, so to speak, at the moment,
Yeah.
is that what it is? Your card's technically 2-0?
2-0, yeah.
Yeah,
2-0,
amazing. And
correct.
is more fights happening on the cards?
Yeah. There's a couple more penciled in for this year.
Yeah, awesome.
Hopefully just depending on how I pull up after the next one,
Yeah.
hopefully just get a couple more by the end of the year.
Is the next one being booked in yet?
That's going to be in September.
So I'll be back from Greece.
You'll be back from Greece?
Yeah, I'll be, mate, are you serious?
Oh, good, mate. We got
You
a
know what
t-shirt
I'm wearing? You know what I'm wearing? I'm ready to
boy.
rock and roll, man. I'm loving
go.
it. Man, it's an incredible full three-way story, and obviously you're seeing what you are doing now. Are you mentally the healthiest you've ever been?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Physically, mentally, spiritually as well, which is very important to me. You
Yeah.
know, like I wake up my day with my day, and you know, I'm grateful. You know, and that's one thing that has gotten me to this point is like, and as corny as it sounds, an attitude of gratitude, mate. You know, and I wasn't grateful for a lot of things in the past as part of my story. You can probably tell. You know, like if a lot of other people were handed what I had, they would have been grateful. I wasn't. I was more. But today I wake up and I'm so grateful for the people in my life, for the opportunities that life keeps throwing at me, and for where I'm at, you know, and I'm able to help other people that were in my position get help, because it's so hard when you have no knowledge of how to get help. It's so hard. Not being comfortable in your own skin, to me, is the most painful thing you could ever go through, bro. It's so painful. Not comfortable in your own skin. Can you imagine that? No. Not knowing what to do, not having any tools on your tool belt of when something bad happens, when something shit happens, when something really fucking shit happens, how to react, how to regulate your emotions. You know, I had no tools, none, because what did I do every time?
Yeah.
Whatever. That's what I did every single time. That life got too tough. All right, fuck it. This is what I'm going to do. That was my solution. You know, that was my solution. And today it's not. You know.
Yeah, you can tell what you can tell.
Yeah.
It's like your energy is next level.
Yeah.
Which I freaking love.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, this is exactly why I wanted to have you on.
Yeah.
Because I strongly believe in your story. I think the story and with what you're doing, with the trajectory that you're going to be going on, you know, call it what you like. I'm going to be biased. I always will be. But I think the trajectory that you're on is unprecedented. I love the fact that there's no capping on your story. I love the fact that you've got such an energy for what you do with kickboxing and things like that. But I also probably appreciate the person more than the kickboxer. That you're where your fundamentals are right now, and with the helping of others. I think being in that position to them being back, I think that's, for me, that's probably means a lot more than anything.
Yeah.
As a human, that knowing that what you're doing and the impact. So we're blessed to know you, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad you're in my life. And you know, massive thank you to Amy as well for the intro, because it's worked out amazingly well. She's a jet. She's a star.
Absolute star.
Love that girl like a sister. So I can't thank her enough because we wouldn't have met, wouldn't have had this relationship and this connection. And now I've met a lifelong friend. I'm also very protected. So it's good, man. We always finish off with the final three. And I'm not on my phone. I'm just getting the questions back because I always forget them. But the final three questions, so they're the humble three is what we call them. We'll start off with number one. And this is a genuine question. If you could have dinner with three people in the world, who would it be and why?
I'd definitely like to say Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. Right? He's someone that, mate, world-class, but probably one of the best, if not the best boxer.
He knocks out Jake Paul.
Yeah.
He won't.
You know? My second person was going to be Jake Paul at the same time with them. Yeah.
I don't blame him.
You know?
It's just Mike Tyson.
And, you know, weirdly, the third person, honestly would think at the moment, would have to be Donald Trump.
Yeah, okay, I can say that.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just reckon he would have so much knowledge and...
But it's back in the news again today.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I just feel like he would have so much to tell.
Yeah. He would,
and he would spill the beans.
He's shaking a lot of hands, that guy.
Yeah, he's shaking a lot of hands. Yeah.
He'd have a pretty interesting phone book, put it that way. I love it. No, it's a good variety of answers, man. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, and Donald Trump.
But hang on, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson same time.
Yeah, of course. You have to, man.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
But you know what, though, man? They're all playing this up, this whole Netflix fight anyway.
Very smart.
They're both great. I mean, incredible marketers. The Paul brothers, the Paul family.
Absolute gems, man.
They're genuine. It's like for me, business people, incredible. Like Prime's all over. I watch WWE still, right? To this day, I still watch WWE Tuesdays and Saturdays.
So you're a fan of Logan then?
Well, it's funny, so he's the bad guy at the moment in SmackDown.
I don't watch it,
I
so
watch
you can educate me on this.
He's the bad guy at the moment. Because he's got a beef going on with Cody Rhodes. And I'm a massive Cody. Anyway, cut long story short, I love that he's like what incredible business people. From YouTubers to having Prime now as one of the main sponsors of WWE in the middle of the mat.
Yeah. They're smart, bro. They're very smart. And there's another one. You know, Logan Paul coming and overcoming adversity and things like that.
Yeah, they've got a pretty cool humble climb. Yeah. I don't know about the humble part, but they've got the climb part.
Yeah, the climb part, definitely the climb part, yeah.
Next question. Yeah. The proudest moment in your life?
After my first pro fight, to be honest with you. Yeah, nice.
So that's this year. That's this year, sorry.
Once when I saw my family, you know, when I saw my yaya.
Yeah, was she at the fight?
No, but I get a blessing from her before every fight, you know. She gets a ladhi from church. You know, does a prayer, everything like that. You know, and
best part about this story, I don't know if I can say it, but the best part is that you live with your yaya. Yeah. Right now. Yeah. I love that. It's like you had to do 1 year.
Had to do 1 year, bro. I had to give them 1 year to trust me.
I reckon that is the best story ever. That you live with your yaya right now. I reckon that, for me, genuinely, I love that story. Because I live with my yaya and papa as well, so I get it.
Yeah. Mate, I had to give the family 1 year so they trust me. And
the 1 year's coming up.
It's done. But I'm still there. She's got me, mate.
That's the best, man. I love it. And the last one of all is ideal retirement destination.
Miami, Florida. Hands down. Nice. Yeah.
Can I ask, can you go?
No, I can't for a number of years.
You never know.
I've done it a couple of times, mate. That's why.
You know what, though, man? Things change. You never know in the future. Yeah. I love it. A massive thank you again to all of our huge, amazing sponsors before we wrap this up. Gigi Herring Kids in Berkeley Street, amazing. Go see Marissa and the team. Blank Financial, Bernard. If you need some finance advice, please speak to them about all your brokering, restructuring, refinancing, whatever it might be. But they're incredible, and I'm sure the team will be able to best assist you. Anthony Gallo from Beckett Property, huge thank you to you for coming on board for your advocacy needs. Please get in touch with the guys. And again, we'll make sure we got all the information present. And lastly, Property Society Co. Pip for coming on and styling all the amazing properties that we get to sell, which is amazing. A huge thank you, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. JD, Delis, I absolutely love you. I can't wait to wear the T-shirt. Genuinely, I don't know if it's going to last till September because
I'll get you another one.
I'm going to Greece and that's coming with me. So I'm not even joking when I say that. I'm so proud of you as a friend. I'm so proud of you as a brother, as a fellow Christian. I'm over the moon about your journey. I love what you do. I think your story, to be honest with you, should be told more because I think it's a great awareness story for so many people. I can talk as a young man of similar ethnic origin. I find it really inspiring. I love what you're doing. I think you've got an enormous trajectory on your way. And I can't wait to ride the ride with you. And and see your ride and your rise continue to grow, because you deserve everything in life that comes your way. Yes, you've stuffed up in the past, and there's certainly no denying of that. But I think the part that what you're trying to do at the moment, that's what this Humble Climb's about. It's about giving people that opportunity to voice what they've been through and also talk about the next stages of their life. So I'm so proud of you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, dear.
You're
I
a
really
gentleman.
appreciate you, brother.
I love you.
Love you too,
brother.
mate.
I love those eyes. I look forward to seeing you soon. That's a wrap. We'll be away for a couple of weeks while I'm overseas baptising my cousin's little one and spending some amazing time with my family and my amazing partner, Sophia. We can't wait to bring you more episodes when we get back. See you soon.